So this video was shot on a Sigma 16mm lens, and you can see when I apply a base LUT on this, everything looks very blue. And at first this might not seem like a big issue, but when I apply like another LUT and when I try to mess around with the skin tones are messed up big time, everything looks very blue. So what I'm gonna have to do for this shot is I'm going to have to zoom in very close to the area I want to work in, and that is going to be the skin tones. So now that I'm zoomed in all the way, I'm gonna go ahead and apply a color wheels effect, and what this is going to help me do is bring those oranges of the skin tones back. So I'm going to go first with the global, then I'm going to go with the highlights, and by just focusing on one area alone, it helps me to isolate the area I want to work in and be much more precise. So I would say I'm pretty happy here. Now if we go back and just double check that, that's already made a huge difference. And now if I go ahead and apply a color adjustment, so now this is looking a lot better. And this is a mistake I've made in the past just by filming in vlog picture profile. I made a huge mistake of messing up the white balance. So this white balance was set at 3500 Kelvin, which is extremely low. It should have been 5000 for this setting right here. So now I'm gonna try and balance the shot a little bit better. I'm gonna bring the highlights higher. And what I'm also going to do is I'm gonna warm the highlights slightly. So when you warm up the highlights, I also need to work on tints. Do the same for the midtones, and this is looking a lot better. So now when I go to apply the final LUT I want to work with, which in this case is going to be this one right here, I can now see that the skin tones are way better. So now I'm going to show you what we started with and what we ended up with. When I first saw the footage, I was like, please tell me there's a solution for this. Now let's go for the next shot. So this right here, we have the opposite situation. So what happened here is probably the Kelvin was set at the wrong exposure, probably around 4500, when for this shot it should be much lower, around 3000, even 2500. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the color wheels tab and do the same thing. I'm gonna zoom all the way into the area I wanna work in specifically. So the skin tones, again, that is what I really want to recover. And we're gonna bring the globals down, highlights down, and especially the shadows. This is the amazing thing about filming in 10-bit is you could really push the edges with color grading. And okay, I'm sort of happy there. Now I'm gonna zoom all the way out again. I'm gonna apply a color adjustment and tweak the colors slightly. The shadows could be slightly less dark. Exposure, bring down those highlights. And now the image is looking slightly green, so I'm gonna go ahead and raise the tint. And now this slider is what's doing all the work. You could see the background lights. What a huge difference right there. I'm gonna leave it there. The midtones, I'm gonna do the same with the tint. I'm gonna go for 4. Okay, that looks a bit better. And now for the next step, I'm gonna go ahead and apply another LUT, which is gonna be the same one to maintain some consistency. And that looks a lot better. So this is what we ended up with, and this is what we started with. I know this might seem like a tiny difference, but you could especially see the guy back here. What a big difference this makes, how much the vibrancy is increased. So yeah, I'm happy with that one. Let's move to the next one. This was shot on a 30mm Sigma lens, and the reason why I chose this shot is because it looks extremely average. And the reason for that is the highlights are blown out and everything has a very neutral feel. I'm hoping to recover some of that color. And for the first step, I'm gonna go with the global scale here, warm the image slightly. And again, I forgot to zoom all the way into one area, and that's okay. Now we can zoom all the way out. Already that first step has made a massive difference. Now I'm gonna go with the color adjustments, bring those highlights as much as possible without affecting, you can see the edging here, so I'm gonna go a bit higher for that smoother feel. So I'm just looking to correct the color right now. Now the next step, let's apply a LUT, which as you guessed, it's the same one we used before to maintain that consistency. And I can actually see this one doesn't really fit the vibe I'm going for. It looks very blue. I don't like it. So I'm actually gonna switch. Gonna go for M31. This looks a lot better, but I don't look this cyan here. It looks too extreme to me. So I'm gonna bring this down, and I'm actually gonna go to the hue, saturation curves, I'm gonna go to the hue versus hue, select this color right here, bring it down a notch because I don't like that extreme cyan. And now I'm gonna go back into color adjustments, add some more punchiness to this shot, make the blacks darker, bring those highlights slightly down. And this is what we ended up with. This is what we started, and this is what we ended up with. So I did make a mistake here. You could see some distortion in the color. I don't like that. So saturation versus saturation. Focus on this particular skin tone. And wow, that already does it. Look at that difference. So I'm not gonna go for anything crazy. I just want it to not stand out too much. So let's zoom out back again, and there we have it. As you can see, if you have a good camera with good bitrate, you can actually fix a shot pretty easily doing the right steps. I do think it helps massively if you film in vlog, as you have a wider spectrum to work with, but also that's a downside for me with vlog is I tend to make a lot more mistakes. Either the shot is overexposed or underexposed just because I can't see a clear picture of what the final image is going to actually look like. Subscribe for more content. See you guys next week.